we're talking about what's eating you. Talking about what's eating you.
Proudly brought to you by Rogers Hood Apothecary. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Sam.
Our first podcast episode ever.
Yes. So what are we doing here?
Well, this is what's eating you.
What's eating you?
It's our longtime vision and passion project coming to life to deliver important, tangible information, shine light on the dark, and provide people with the info they need to reclaim their power and help them on their self-healing journeys. You know, we're here to speak truth and liberate and share what we know and what has worked for us to help really awaken people's power.
Because it's about being able to understand your body and be your own advocate so that you're confident in what you're saying and what you're doing and who you're trusting. Because these are the only bodies you get in life. So we want to make sure that we take care of them and that we listen to ourselves.
What got you on this journey of self-healing, but also leading you to this point to help other people heal themselves and their bodies?
Well, I've had 13 surgeries and a hysterectomy, and they just continually kept cutting on me, putting me on medications, never really understanding what was wrong with me with endometriosis and all the labels. And then I just realized that everything I was doing was wrong.
You realized you were doing it wrong. Is it because 13 surgeries you weren't getting better?
Yeah, nothing was getting better.
So that path you were on was not the solution to get to the root.
I mean, it just got to a point where the doctors just kind of threw their hands up and said, there isn't much left for us to do for you. This is the way you're going to live. And that's kind of the way that Western medicine treats people. And I worked in Western medicine since 2004, and I still didn't fully grasp the concept of root causes. Like, what's making you sick? You can throw surgeries on it. You can add medications into your life. You can even do all the supplements. But until you fully realize what your root cause is, you're going to continue to have problems with your health. Western medicine isn't always right. And how do you use herbs as part of your assistance with the ailment? We realized that the environmental toxins played a really big part in what was going on with my health. I was getting worse, declining.
You already had Lyme going on,
Adenomyosis, which is a scar tissue disease. I had mold, which we found out later, parasites, which I found out later. I've been sick for my whole life. I was chronically ill as a child, but this took it to a whole nother level. And I could feel myself circling the drain.
That feels like a really hopeless place to be in.
Yeah.
How did you come back from that?
Well, I didn't want to die. I didn't want to die. I want people to heal. There's really no reason for us to be sick. There's no reason for us to sit in this pain, and you should understand your body. You should understand how it works.
Normalized.
It has.
People think it's normal to be infertile. It's normal to be chronically ill. Do you think it's normal?
No, not at all. Do you think it's normal?
No. We're such powerful beings. Our bodies are self-healing. They only cannot do that when they're interrupted. By no means is it normal, but it's been normalized.
In our bucket is overflowing because of environmental toxins and heavy metals and mold that we don't even all know we've been exposed to, and water. You know, our water is contaminated in our country. And that's a really big thing because it's so important. You need water to survive. We had parasites in our water. We were out here thinking, oh yeah, we're not drinking the water. We had filters, reverse osmosis. We were brushing our teeth. We were rinsing our produce with the contaminated water.
You told me you would also put your contacts in after putting the water in. So you were putting them into your eye.
Yep. And I had a worm in my left eye. It swam multiple years. Well, after cleansing, I now know that floaters are not normal.
Please, let's get into the worms a little bit.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, you are deemed the worm queen. Like, this is what you are. So you did a parasite cleanse. You got on your camera to film talking about it.
Yeah.
You posted the video to TikTok. It went viral.
Within 2 hours, I had 1 million views.
Okay.
It shut my TikTok down. It shut my phone down. It just completely changed our lives in those moments.
Wow.
Completely. I want to share with everyone. I have this knowledge and I'm going viral over something that I 100% can teach people.
So that's when you created your own product and created Roger's Hood.
Right.
And the
Started
Parify
it.
kit.
You have to understand the human body and all the different types of ailments that go along with parasite cleansing. And I do believe that you can do prophylactic type of treatment so that you don't continue to get sick. And herbs can do that for you.
I love your recipes. I love the herbs you chose. I also love that Jeremy, your husband, made the decision. If they want to see worms,
Totally.
let's let them see worms. So he basically decided that the amount of herbs you were going to use
Right.
was going to be a high enough dose that people were going to physically see worms leave their
Yeah.
body, which I did. Your cleanse actually changed my life. It actually changed my health, my well-being, my vitality, my clarity, my physical health, my emotional, mental, and I saw worms.
What made you start becoming such a health guru in your life and everyone around you too, Sam? You're such a light and influence when you are talking about the human body and how everyone needs to really just be healthy in what they put in their mouth and be conscientious.
Me being that way is so natural for me because I'm so excited about it. Like it
Yeah.
actually lights me up. I'm so fascinated with the human body and with nature and the symbiotic relationship between the two because we are nature. We're not separate from it. So these things, of course, work in harmony with our bodies. I grew up in the mountains in Arizona on my grandma's land. She had 42 acres. She had an orchard and a garden. So I grew up with that as my core and the first experience I had. And I was then exposed to the all-American diet and the all-American way of living. Anytime I got sick, it was straight to antibiotics, then started taking birth control as a teenager while simultaneously eating the all-American diet. Fast food, soda, you name it, junk food, all the artificial everything. After a decade of this, I was really sick and tired. You know, I would go to the doctor and they'd say, oh, you have Epstein-Barr, you have chronic fatigue, and you have like depression and anxiety. And I'm like, but why? What's wrong with me?
What's my root?
Antidepressants and anti-anxiety medicines at dangerously high doses. And when I stopped taking those pharmaceuticals, I then came out of this multi-year fog. It was like I was living in constant brain fog and just couldn't get out of it. I was so deep in the psychosis of pharmaceuticals, Western medicine. The doctor knows best.
The body's addicted to the synthetics.
The doctor knows better than me.
Exactly.
I trust what they're saying.
Right.
I just thought something was wrong with me. I started moving my body. I started getting outside. I was no longer on the antidepressants. Sunshine changed the way I ate. I had a complete awakening with my food.
All we're trying to do with food is give our bodies energy to continue to do what needs to be done and have those specific organs work.
It's fuel.
It's the fuel
Yes.
to make your body move.
I will only eat to live for the rest of my life. I will never poison myself again.
And you really don't.
Oh, I stick to it.
Because that's where we all need to be.
Yeah. Nothing tastes as good as feeling good feels.
Because your body doesn't know how to process it. Or it's so overloaded with toxins that even if you were able to process it, the toxins are just causing this inflammation in your body.
Right. When you're in healing mode, you're in survival and you're fighting to get to a place where you feel good. But then once you're there, it's about maintaining.
Yep.
I did all of those things, but I never parasite cleansed. I knew it was a thing, but I was like, do I really even need to? You know, it was kind of like, I don't know.
Everyone thinks they don't need one, which really is where you got to start.
Girl, when I tell you day 3, I saw the first worm.
Day 3 is really a day for a lot of people. Day 3 was mine when I saw everything too, on my first cleanse.
It tripped me out. I couldn't believe it. I was like, it actually is real.
If you've never tried to remove something that's been in your body for decades, it's literally in there.
They can live in your body for decades.
For like your whole life. Pinworms just settle on in your appendix. And that's where they live. You can try and get rid of the pinworms, but unless you're doing multiple cleanses over time, they're just replicating.
Yes.
And they're so smart
because
they know exactly how to hide.
If that one worm was all I saw, that would have still just tripped me out.
So where did you see the most?
I saw hundreds more leave my body. Parasites, worms, bad bacteria, candida, viruses, mold, mucus, heavy metals, they all team up together.
And they grow and they create an ecosystem in your
in
body.
multiple places in your body, not just
one.
your gut.
Blood, tissue, muscle, brain, they really do take a hold and they want to be in there. Serotonin flows more freely during the full moon. They feed off of it, making you feel bad about yourself because serotonin is the happy chemical that runs through your body.
Man, they gotta go.
They've got
all
to
of
go.
them. I was on a mission. The second I started, day 4, I went to the steam room, not knowing that that was going to cause me to go home and blow my nose and see a worm come out of my nose.
Oh my gosh, Sam.
And that was the first worm of over 100. I lost count at some point. I couldn't even count how many left my nose, Kim. My nose. I was getting sick often before cleansing. I remember getting random bursts of anxiety that was also borderline paranoia. After cleansing, I haven't experienced that one time.
That's amazing. They definitely can affect your mental health, nervous system, anxiety. They drive your self-worth to a negative place.
Yeah.
And my anxiety, I know when it's time for me to cleanse. When you're fighting these environmental toxins that are trying to take over your body, that's why we named this What's Eating You, because really they're wanting to eat you.
Yeah.
They want to survive and they're going to do anything they can. You're a host. You're the best host.
Until we start making our bodies
inhospitable
for them. At this point, it's been hundreds that have left my body. I cleansed out gallstones, liver flukes. I also passed a foot-long ropeworm.
Oh man,
that was the only
ropeworms are wild.
It was the only time that I was actually shooketh. I was like angry. I was like, how dare you? Get out of me. Like, you can never live in me again.
So you really do feel invaded. For me personally, how did I not know this? I was a professor. I worked in the field. How did I not know this? This is something we all do have.
Well, you've made a lot of noise. I've seen you be an innovator leading parasite cleansing online and social media and making it cool, and people are like, oh, I want to do that too.
But it is cool. It is fun. You're taking care of your body.
Yeah.
This is all you get in this lifetime.
Yeah.
And in order to keep you healthy and happy, you have to cleanse at least 3 to 4 times a year.
Yeah.
Just because you're constantly exposed every day.
Both of us experienced times in our lives where we were sick and tired. We fought and we turned to nature to heal us.
The outside world of Western medicine had abandoned me.
Yeah.
And so I turned to the one thing I knew, which is herbs, Mother Nature. I was out here. I was able to spend 6-8 hours a day meditating and really figuring out what was wrong with me.
It's really symbolic, even our logo being a big mouth. We make a lot of noise and we're here to talk and we're here to shed light. Everything we're going to talk about on this podcast is how we live our lives. It's very important for us to peel back the layers of taboo or ignorance or fear around a lot of these things that really, when you just embrace them and use them as tools, you take your power back and you can heal thyself. Learn it and then apply it. We're here to help provide the information and then encourage you all and support you all to take action and continue on in your journey of self-healing. Today, we're talking about healing modalities, right? This is something that both of us utilize a lot in our personal lives, on our healing journeys. We really want to bring attention and information to people to let them know what's available, dive in deeper on how they've helped us on our journeys and in our lives. Healing modalities are generally considered to be ancient in origin, even though when we say the words on social media, it feels like it's a modern thing that technology runs, but it's actually ancient in origin, with many practices like acupuncture, Ayurvedic, traditional Chinese medicine, and various forms of energy healing have roots in ancient civilizations and cultures where holistic approaches to health were prevalent. While some modern adaptations and refinements exist, the core concepts often stem from ancient healing traditions.
That's so good.
It's so
good.
beautiful.
They used to do all of these
Yeah.
things. And I think we've just kind of lost our way, not really realizing how important they are to the human body.
A lot of these things are mimicking nature.
Mm-hmm.
Like I realized that the infrared sauna is mimicking the sun.
Yep.
Red light therapy is mimicking the sun.
Yes.
Cold plunges is mimicking cold body of water or snow or any way that humans have used the cold as therapy, right?
Yes. Cold plunge. It's my jam.
Has that been one that you noticed the most positive benefits when you do it?
Yes.
In what way? What are the benefits for you?
Totally inflamed, and it helps like calm that down. The inflammation in a lot of chronically ill people's body is real, especially with mold, because the body is going through something in order for you to get rid of it. So it swells up. It's like its defense mechanism. And if you're able to go in and kind of calm that down.
Cold plunge therapy is also really, really great for mental.
Yes.
I've witnessed you before. We've done it together. You were in there for what, over 10 minutes?
15.
15.
I was in there 15 minutes.
Yeah, you were talking, you were laughing, you were breathing just fine. So all of us were like, oh, it's going to be a piece of cake. It's going to be easy. And I went second right behind you. And it was so hard mentally. Mental was actually the biggest challenge of it, more than the physical discomfort. It was the mental, like my body wanted me to get out. My mind was freaking out on the
Really?
inside. Yes.
Dang,
I'm
I didn't know.
calm, cool, collected on the outside, but inside I was freaking out.
You were like, I got to get out.
That is actually power though, because if on the inside you're feeling this way, but on the outside you're staying composed and you're still physically staying in it, that's true power. If you can breathe and know that you'll make it through it, and on the other side you'll be better for it because you did something hard. So mentally it improves you and strengthens you. And then physically, inflammation, you said, is a huge benefit of cold therapy. A different cold therapy we've done together that's been huge in my life, and that's cryotherapy. I found it a couple of years ago because I woke up and my neck was so kinked, and it was like my entire neck, shoulders, and back just on fire for days, like acute inflammation. And it was so painful. And I went to a chiropractor and they did an x-ray and they said I had like 6 herniated discs. But he said it was accumulated micro trauma over 10 years because I'm a music engineer and producer and singer-songwriter. So I'm like in
in that type of hunched position.
A crappy, non-supportive chair all night long, hunched over, like pulling all-nighters for 10 years. And the only thing that worked, I tried everything. Every time I would go in, it would cut my pain and inflammation in half every session. That's how effective cryotherapy was. And you're talking about 3 minutes a day.
3 minutes a day.
It does more than just help with physical pain.
Yeah.
It releases feel-good chemicals.
Endorphins.
It also doing something hard. Here we are back again talking about doing something hard and improving your mental.
Was that your first? Like, what was your first
My
modality
first?
that introduced you into this healing modality world?
Probably a sauna.
Do you prefer sauna or steam?
That's tough. Probably steam. You get the same sweat, but that moisture just does something different for you. And it's really, really great for the skin.
I really like the steam for skin, but if I have to choose between which heat, I like the dry. I love the sauna.
And these both, what we're talking about, are both really great tools for people to do while they're detoxing and cleansing.
Especially, well, parasites, but especially mold, because you're trying to really push the spores out of your system. And so red light therapy is one of the best things that I have found while I was detoxing from mold. Some frequencies, methylene blue with red light, the combination of those really help mitochondria and just push out the spores.
So red light therapy is cellular,
Yes.
mitochondria, skin.
Yes. It's really just boosting and allowing your body to kind of push out. And if you add a layer of castor oil on it, it'll penetrate the castor oil deeper into the skin. I'll do castor oil and then I'll go into my red light sauna. And I'll just sit in there. And so then it just gives you even more. It's biohacking stacking.
I was on a candida cleanse and they had an infrared sauna, but they would have you get on a vibrate plate for 10 to 15 minutes before going into the sauna because they said it would shake everything up. It would shake everything up and get your lymph moving, stimulate your lymphatic system. And actually, the vibrate plate is a cheat code for the days that you can't get cardio in.
Yep.
Because it is equivalent to actually walking, jogging, or running. So getting on a vibrate plate and then getting into sweat right after actually loosens up the toxins, it moves the lymph, and then you go and sweat a lot more out. So I like to do it in that order.
So maybe I'll do vibration plate, the sauna, cold shower, and then head over to my H-bot.
That sounds perfect.
Yeah. And in case you guys are wondering what an H-bot, it's a hyperbaric oxygen chamber therapy. It's like the bubble that you get in, and it is a pressurized oxygen so that you're breathing it in. It's penetrating through your skin. You're just being pelted with 100% oxygen. And people that have Lyme, mold, parasites, they don't like 100% oxygen. The toxins don't like it. So the toxins will like kind of run and hide, and it'll kill them off.
I use any modality that's a challenge that feels uncomfortable as a way to build mental strength as well. I want to talk about a modality that's been a huge part of my life.
Yes.
There's a lot of taboo around it, a lot of fear around it. A lot of people just don't know where to start, and it scares people. Colonics and enemas.
Yes.
This is another example of being able to go somewhere and actually use a modality, aka colonic. Colonics have been a huge modality in my life because I cleanse so often. And it's so good to do for maintenance, to clean out the colon. So many people are walking around, have hard old waste that's impacted inside of them, that's affecting their brain, it's affecting their gut microbiome. They have leaky gut, and they have waste and undigested food and chemicals and toxins and parasites.
Just absorbing right back in because your body cannot absorb that much toxin going back into your body, basically. Because if it has nowhere to go, that is your exit, but it's going to just sit there. That's opportunity for parasites to come in and feed off of that toxin load.
Yeah, for parasites, for worms, for candida, for cancer.
Yes.
You have to clean it just like your oil changes on the car. Like it's absolutely necessary. It really is a non-negotiable for health. So if you don't want to go and do a colonic, an at-home, easy, accessible, and extremely affordable way you can do it is through enemas.
Yes.
You can do water enemas. You can do coffee enemas. I've been that girl in my friend group for a long time that's like, you need to do enemas. You need to do enemas. And they're like, God damn, you with these enemas.
But
it's
you
like,
make it fun.
Honestly, it's
fun.
because of the instant benefits that you experience when you do them. Water enemas too. It's like, doesn't even have to be coffee. It's just super simple. There's like a tip that I find to be extremely valuable.
It was so valuable.
I tell everyone this because a lot of people don't know to do this and they skip it, and it causes you a lot of unnecessary suffering and pain. So when you fill your enema bag with the water, before actually getting it to go into you through the tube, you take the tube with the enema bag full of water and you walk over to a drain like a shower or toilet, something that's like lower, because you want to use gravity. So you're keeping it like this, and you release the clamp so you allow water to flow through the tube until it's flowing out of the end, and then you clamp it up real quick because you don't want to get rid of all the water, but you have to do that to get the air out of the tube.
You're priming it.
Yes, you're getting the air out of the tube. This is so important because people skip that and they just go straight to putting it in and letting the water come out. But then they fill their intestines up with air.
Yes.
And you can be in pain for like 24 hours after, and it's really unnecessary. So doing that before a water or a coffee enema is a huge tip I love to share with everyone.
Which is what the whole purpose of these things is to be enjoyed.
Yes, it does provide you instant relief. You feel clearer-headed, lighter in your body.
Yes.
Immediately. It never fails. It always works. And this is the kind of stuff we love to talk about because it removes like the taboo and like the weirdness around it. And it's like, it's normal.
Especially when you're doing intense cleanses. We're asked all the time at Rogers Hood, can you do them during? And it's like, yes.
You should.
Whatever you can do before to prep your body, during to prep your body,
and after to maintain. And that's why I don't say like, yeah, you can do it while you're cleansing. You should.
If you use it as a preventative and you add it into your life, the pain level will go down significantly, which helps with mental health.
I love that point of you can use so many of the modalities that we've discussed today as preventative.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait until you're in pain,
Yes.
you're sick, you have an illness. So it's not about doing them only when there's an emergency happening.
Right. You should enter these into your life every single day. We're so sedentary all day. We sit, we don't eat the best. And so when you can bring something like this in to help you, then you're going to feel better, especially when you're doing things that help with the inflammation, because that really is one of our biggest issues and things live in that inflammation. So you have to make sure that you're keeping it the best you can down.
A really great DIY is salt baths, like an Epsom salt bath. I just used one the other night. A lot of Epsom salt and CBD salt, like bath salts. You want to be careful with like fragrances though.
Yeah, you don't, and if you're
You
going
don't
to
want
use them, they
fragrance.
have to be essential
oils
oil.
only.
Like a guaranteed essential oil, not a fragrance essential oil. Because you're literally absorbing it.
Yes, that's
you're
right.
absorbing it. So you have to be very careful.
That's right. Yeah.
With what you're putting on your skin as well.
But super cleansing, purifying to use during a cleanse,
Yes.
a parasite cleanse, as well as fulvic minerals.
Yes, fulvic. We have a fulvic soak, and it will detox you. That's for sure. I had worms swim out of the bottom of my feet. What are you gonna do? Like, they wanted to come out apparently because they're making, it's making your body inhospitable.
They were alive?
Yeah.
You saw live worms swim
I
out
have
of your feet?
video of them swimming out of my feet multiple times. I don't think people really realize how important it is to do types of baths like that because they don't know how it all absorbs it back into your bloodstream. This is your biggest organ.
Something as simple as a bath
Yeah.
is a healing modality.
Yes, as simple as a bath.
Healing modality sounds like it's so like there has to be this whole thing, but I mean it's really just these like a lot of
Simple.
these simple ancient practices, holistic practices, right?
Yep. It's pretty cool because technology is really showing us what we can do to really help our bodies. And I'm really in a repair type of mode right now. I'm healing, but I'm also working on how to repair everything, meaning to repair the damage that was done by all of the environmental toxins that have really eaten my body. And that's why we're called What's Eating You.
Yeah.
Because,
One of the reasons, one of the many reasons.
these environmental toxins have eaten me, and I'm trying to repair my DNA in order for me to live a healthier life and to be out there doing what we're doing right now, teaching people this.
Tonight we're talking about food.
Yes.
It is huge, and it seems to be one of the hardest things for people.
It is. It's so hard because people don't realize they need to have a good food relationship.
I think that people don't have a good relationship with food because it's a program that since we were born, like we were taught the wrong information unless you were lucky enough to grow up in a household with parents that knew what we have come into the knowledge of in our adulthood.
Yes.
And my parents didn't know.
Neither did mine.
Yeah. So in the beginning of my life, I'm grateful because I did grow up in the mountains and for the first 10 years of my life, and my grandma had a garden and an orchard, and we did eat more from the land, but also simultaneously we're drinking Pepsi and Coke.
Right.
And when we would go to the big city, we would get fast food, Taco Bell and McDonald's as like a treat, and it was exciting.
Food was treats.
It was. People thought like it's bad for me, like fast food or soda's bad for me, but no one really knew why. People didn't think too much about it for decades. It was kind of just like you eat to get full.
Right. We came from, my mom worked for Weight Watchers. We ate healthy and she cooked a lot at home. But then when we'd go out and we always looked at food as a treat. And I think that that's where these bad habits come from, is it's a reward and that's not it at all. And you figured that out.
It's the ingredients above all else.
What made you do this, Sam? We all want to know, and I know it was life-changing for you.
It was. My entire life changed. I grew up, like I said, for the first 10 years in both worlds, the more healthy, but also dabbling in the all-American diet. Every time I got sick, it was antibiotics, all of the pharmaceuticals and all that stuff. So like for a good decade of my life, I just did so much damage to my body, like all the birth control and just all of it, right?
Yeah, all
And
those
so-
synthetics.
all the synthetics. I got really sick, chronic fatigue, Epstein-Barr, cystic acne, hormones out of control, super painful periods, PMS that took up like 2 weeks of my month every month, which is half of my life.
That's like half. Yeah, you couldn't get anything done.
And literally,
Crazy.
some days I couldn't get out of bed to
Oh,
shower.
that's so sad.
And I remember at some point being like, how am I going to do anything in life in the future? If I literally can't even get up to shower, how am I going to like chase my music dreams or do anything? I don't even have the energy to like do the basic everyday stuff. And basically, I started to come into the awakening of needing to move my body. So I was starting to wake up and realize I needed to make changes and get healthier. And I stayed up all night diving down a rabbit hole on the internet about the link between food and depression, food and anxiety, food and acne, food and hormones, food and chronic fatigue. I was determined. I stayed up all night long. I literally didn't sleep that night. And about 6 hours into this deep dive, I came across the information that these big food companies are putting this poison in the food on purpose to keep people sick, dependent on pharmaceuticals, because the big food companies are in bed with Big P, dependent on those and addicted to the food to keep coming back and keep buying it and eating it more and more. They know it's making people sick. They know it's making people obese. They know it's making people depressed.
Because food is toxic or food is medicine.
Literally.
Yes.
There's no gray area.
There is no gray area.
And that night it became apparent to me. And I know what it feels like to make a decision deep down with all of your willpower, like a real decision, a life-changing, long-lasting, forever decision. I felt it shift inside of me. It was like, you'll never make me sick again because I won't put it in my mouth. If I don't eat it, you can't poison me anymore. I'm taking my power back into my own hands. I'm taking my life back into my own hands.
Yeah.
You've stolen my life from me and I'm way too young to feel this old. Like that's how I felt. So you are what you eat.
Right.
All food holds a vibration. All food holds information.
And it should be alive.
If it's lab grown, if it's GMO,
It's not alive.
It's artificial.
Right.
So you are becoming artificial.
Yeah.
You are what you eat. If the food is grown in the sun, or if you're eating an animal that ate plants that were grown in the sun, you're actually eating information, life information. Food contains light codes.
Now, I do want to say, though, that like I know this is a very sensitive topic for people. And I want people to take away from this a different relationship with food. But I also want people to know that I have had an eating disorder. And so I do know what it is like to have the eating issues and the food issues. And so I just want you guys to know that this is for informational purposes and that I do understand when we talk about food, how triggering it can be. So I just want to I just want to say that because food is so difficult.
Yeah.
So when I hear people talking about it, it is somewhat like, but that, you know, I just want to put that out there because it's really important for people to know there's no judgment here.
No.
That we're just sharing our own personal ideals and
journeys
our
with
journeys
food.
because I've had food disruption issues and you were able to heal. I just want you guys to know.
I love that. So valid. So valid and thoughtful.
You are so smart and you have so much to offer and food is your first line of defense. You have taught me personally and Jeremy, and it's all because of this amazing food awakening that you've had.
Yeah, I did.
You know?
And my whole desire with sharing my story is I'm really just hoping that anything that I share just resonates with someone.
Yeah, totally.
That they hear what I heard that night that changed everything for me, because if it can click for even one other person, then I'm just like, it's amazing. I just want to pass it on. That's it.
Yeah.
I didn't even know like what was happening in the moment, but I just knew that my spirit was really angry. I felt like I had been so duped. I felt like I had been so tricked and poisoned. So I made a lifelong decision and promise to myself in that moment that I would only eat to live. I would not live to eat anymore.
Smart.
And I will only put fuel into my vessel, not poison. And something shifted in my psyche that night. I felt the shift happen in real time. The perception of food completely changed, and I only could ever view it again as either fuel or poison. It was an instant change that I can't undo it. I got an instant download, and I heard it, and I was able to like connect to it and commit. And that's what happened. And I know it's kind of like a rare thing, but I literally haven't gone back since that night. I've not eaten canola oil or drank a soda or corn syrup or a candy bar or fast food or Doritos or chip. Like I haven't had any of that, not one time since that night. And the reason is because I could no longer see it as a treat.
Right.
Or like, oh, I'm cheating today with a treat, because my mind would go, that's poison. You can hurting
avoid
yourself.
this.
You're hurting yourself.
Yeah, you're doing this.
Yeah.
You know about it, and you're still doing it.
But I'm grateful that that happened to me, and I took that approach, because it literally did completely change my life. In the next coming months, I healed myself of so much. I can't even tell you. I was so full of life and vitality, and I was moving my body, and I was spiritually growing and learning. And I was just, I literally quantum leaped in the following months, growth wise, as a human being. It was a real change and shift in the way that I viewed it and my relationship.
Because the relationship is what's important.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you think of it as a diet, that's something that comes and goes.
Yeah.
Your relationship continues on.
It was very personal. It was a personal mission.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm healing myself.
Yeah,
I'm
you're not judgy.
No, I'm using
all.
food as medicine.
Yeah.
From here on out. I'm using food as medicine.
You know, I just really never really thought about that. And I then started to kind of change my thoughts even when I started making the Parafite kit, because I use clove and garlic and Oregon grapefruit. These are all foods that you can literally eat. Right. Cilantro,
Herbs,
which is a heavy metal detoxer. And that's why they use food as medicine. For pumpkin seeds. You know, there's so many things that can be used. So it really kind of changed my thought process about food. And then I met you, and I really saw how
important it is.
Oh yeah. Like we all talk about how synthetic medications and all that. It's the same. Processed means synthetic. So we're always evolving and we're always kind of morphing and thinking about the way that food is.
I completely changed the way I ate. And I did it with getting really simple with food. I simplified everything. I just went down to the basics, just the basics, and made sure it was all whole food, which simply just means food that is as close to its whole form as possible and the least amount of process as possible. So I started to think about it instantly of like, eat like my ancestors ate. Whole organic grains, organic vegetables, organic fruits, and pasture-raised meat, or at the time it was wild-caught fish because I hadn't met Kim Rogers yet. So I didn't know about salmon, but I was eating salmon at the time. It was frozen, but we know that worms can survive being frozen. So
yeah, I love salmon, by the way. I miss it very much.
For sure. I know it's possible when you are so serious about it. You have your own individual, unique makeup, and so do I. And what works for me may not work for you. Every single piece of food we put into our mouths, to me, there's no gray area. It's black and it's white. Everything we drink or eat is either fuel for our body, fuel for this machine, fuel for this vessel, or it's poisoning us and slowing us down, blocking us up, killing us ultimately.
Slowly killing us, for sure.
It is. And
then you have to go on medication.
Yeah, it's that black and white, Kim.
And it is. It really is that black and white.
Also, how good you feel will continue to fuel your momentum forward. Like, your taste buds change.
Oh, they change
you
dramatically.
Like, also, you crave and want the things that fuel you. You want the clean food the more that you eat it.
I want the clean food. Yeah. I do.
Yeah.
I feel so much better.
It's very individual. You need to know your own body. Knowing your blood type helps. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that that's concrete or set in stone.
Right. I don't think it's set in
Gather
stone.
all the
it's just
information you
so
can.
good to know.
You can still enjoy all of the foods you love. It's just about the quality of ingredients. Real food, whole food.
It's
that's
real
the point.
food.
That's the point.
Yeah. And you're feeding your body to have energy and to give it what it needs.
Yeah. Fuel.
Yeah.
That's
so
right.
it's
That's
just
right.
really important for people to understand.
It's just about taking ownership and sovereignty to learn for yourself so that you decide. Don't let someone else tell you like this is healthy. It's like just get down to the ingredients again. Like really we can simplify so much and empower ourselves by knowing what really is real food and not. Period. Like what's clean, what's not. Get to the most real whole food close to its original form as possible, as close to the way your ancestors ate as possible. And if for you that's meat, then pasture raised, grass fed. If for you that's not, because a lot of humans do really well off of just plants.
Yeah.
I'm not one, but a lot of them do. Then it's as organic and close to its original form as possible and as the least amount of process as possible. It really is that simple when you break it down to that. It's not about depriving. It's really not. It's not. All of these options of these amazing, delicious, real food that I'm like, I have this entire world to play in and it's like amazing and delicious. And so I feel less restricted. I don't feel restricted.
I don't feel restricted at all hanging around you.
Yeah, and I feel better. I feel better. I feel energized. I feel healthy. I feel clear and sharp, and my cognitive function is like on it. So I know it's directly tied to the food, and it's directly connected to your spiritual growth.
It is.
Because the food is alive. It is. Or you're eating dead food that doesn't have that frequency in it, that life force in it. But a good friend of mine taught me that life wants to live. And so if you eat alive food, it is fueling your life. And that's the whole point.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's the whole point.
That's so beautiful.
Food carries information.
You're taking their frequency and adding it into your frequency in a positive way.
That's right. What are we talking about today?
Mold.
This is actually a topic a lot of people may not know to the depth.
Yeah.
That you experienced this in your life and that it actually affected you in a really harmful way.
Just a few years ago, while we were dealing with the parasites and building the company, this was something that just fell on us and we had no idea. We always knew environmental toxins could be an issue, but it wasn't something that Western medicine took seriously. So I'm classically trained in Western medicine. It just wasn't something that we really dove into. Root cause wasn't a thing. So once I started removing the parasites, I started realizing something else was wrong with me.
You always recommend that people parasite cleanse before mold cleansing.
Yep.
Why is that?
Because parasites hold spores. And they can hold heavy metals, spores, viruses, bacteria. And when they release those spores, because you're removing them, the spores can colonate inside of your body, and especially if you're living in mold. Mold is brainwashing. Parasites control and mold brainwashes. And then it gets into your joints, it gets into your lymphatic system. So it's really difficult to rinse it out, essentially, is kind of how you have to think about it. Cleaning it out. And it collonates in your body just like it collonates on a wall, literally growing still inside of you.
It's alive. It's alive.
It's its own frequency, and you can actually feel it when you start to remove the mold out of your body.
You can feel your frequency rising.
You can feel your frequency rising. You can feel the low frequency of the mold.
Parasites control you.
Yes.
Mold brainwashes you.
Right.
That sounds like to me is that it's way more mental. It affects you mentally.
Right.
So let's dive into that.
Well, that's why you struggled with the Moldies cleanse. Moldies is Rogers Hood mold cleanse from my own experience when I was demolding. There wasn't anything out there. And so when people like yourself start to cleanse, it is boosting your mitochondria. However, it's also controlling the way you're thinking and your emotions. It's really very mental. So some of your symptoms of active mold in your body can be weight gain, I could not for the life of me lose weight no matter what I was doing. And it's because mold slows down your metabolism and you can have metabolic disorder, which is what I've ended up having. I have metabolic disorder because my metabolism slowed so much that my body doesn't process the sugars. It doesn't process the nutrients correctly. So I'm always working on that. But that's a huge indication. If all of a sudden you were like fit and skinny and you get in living in mold or you're working in mold, and you're like, gosh, I can't get these 5 pounds off.
Okay.
It's the slowest metabolism you can have.
Okay.
And, we all have been exposed to mold, but if your body isn't processing the right way and you have parasites like I have Lyme, the mold's going to stay in you way better than if you're constantly in movement too.
I heard a long time ago, and it always stuck with me, that disease can't hit a moving target.
Right.
So
That's good.
it's really good. So sedentary lifestyle is that like playground for mold?
Yep, it is. You can mold cleanse, especially with moldies, you can cleanse monthly if you want with a few breaks in between, because the type of herbs that we used in that kit is more mitochondria boosting.
Got it.
But there's a couple herbs that it goes in and it actually like wipes out the spores while you're cleansing.
Wow.
Yeah, and keeps them from growing more and becoming more active.
Amazing.
So for me, obviously, because I'm on camera a lot, my eyes were swelling shut. I could not figure out for the life of me what was wrong. And it started to really scare me because my hair was falling out at a rapid rate. And I was losing handfuls. Obviously, I went to the extreme. I'm like, I parasite cleansed. My gosh, what could be happening to me next? Like, what have I done? Like, we were in such a high stress situation with the build and building Rogers Hood, which was stressful. Going viral is stressful. I'm grateful for it, but it is very stressful.
Stress isn't just negative.
Yeah.
There's good stress.
Yeah.
It affects your system the same way.
So I thought, oh, maybe that's what it is. And then I reached out to Dr. Giles, who's my personal doctor, and I told her my brain fog was so bad that I couldn't finish sentences sometimes. And they do say that mold poisoning is Alzheimer's 3. So the forgetfulness, the rage, like it's just wild how it is so mental like that. The anxiety, the depression that comes with it, the hopelessness. Because once I found out we had mold, it was like, oh God, we're homeless now. So basically we were living in our travel trailer. We were building our dream, our log home. That's where our water was contaminated. And now we're finding out that our travel trailer is full of Aspergillus niger, which is black mold, toxic black mold. And we're living in it. And we're like barely making it.
How did you find out the trailer was full of mold?
So the brain fog, the losing of my hair, and then my eyes swelled shut.
So you got these symptoms, and then what did you do to find out you had it?
I went to Dr. Giles.
Okay.
And I asked her to run as many tests as she possibly could on my blood. I said, I need to know what's wrong with me. This is more than just parasites. I don't know what's going on, and I need to know if I have cancer. I need to know what my next steps are because this is really bad.
Say that people out there want to get tested. How do they go about doing that? What's the best way to get tested, your body, for mold?
The best way is to go and get a blood test or a urine test. Now, I haven't done a urine test, but I've heard from a lot of my root cause doctors that the urine test is really great. And because urine is a runoff of blood, so it's probably the easiest way. But normally you need to see a practitioner.
A doctor.
And you can go into my link tree because I provide doctors that you can go to that specifically specialize in this.
I love you for that.
Aww.
That's really great. Would you say everybody has a little mold in them?
I do. I think everyone has a little bit of mold in them when they have a mental health disorder, anxiety, rage, because it colonizes and you don't even really know it. And our kit in general just helps boost your mitochondria. I just named it Moldies because there's nothing out there. But it has Immune, which has Mullein, which helps break down mucus, and it has Recover, which is oyster, shiitake, milk thistle, and pumpkin seed. And so those combinations help with your hair, skin, nails. So it's doing dual purposes when you're taking the Moldy's kit. Basically, what you're doing when you're doing these cleanses is you're boosting your immune system. That's the whole purpose of it, is to fight against the environmental toxins that have infiltrated your body, which is really where we're at in life. We're in this medical awakening where we're understanding that environmental toxins are really the bigger issue for autoimmune disease.
You've been actively removing environmental toxins from your environment, your space, and your body.
Yes.
And in doing so, you're healing autoimmune disease.
Yes, I was placated with at least 15. I mean, every single one that's been thrown at any of you, it was thrown at me. And so the labels, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to take a couple. I'm going to find out what the root cause of those couple labels are. And then I'm going to get rid of the labels.
So what are environmental toxins?
Parasites, mold, Lyme,
Candida, viruses,
bacteria, strep, which is what I'm dealing with right now, strep in my brain. Because they come from our environment and then they affect our bodies. Our bodies are doing what they're supposed to be doing by putting a barrier, but then it starts to attack itself because it doesn't know the difference. It's like, oh my gosh, what is infiltrating into my body that I need to stop it? And so it starts attacking itself because it thinks that's the problem.
The body itself is never the problem. It's not made incorrectly, or there's not some kind of flaw that happens where the body is just attacking itself for no reason.
Right.
And that's the narrative that a lot of people who have an autoimmune disease have. But you're saying that's not the case.
That's what I'm saying.
That's big.
For myself and for everyone I've worked with, environmental toxins are our issue.
It's the root cause.
It's the root cause.
So you're getting feedback from people with autoimmune diseases that after cleansing and removing environmental toxins from their bodies are reporting back to you directly.
Yes.
That their autoimmune
is gone. We are in a medical awakening. People are realizing that it's more than just a Band-Aid situation with Big Pharma. But you have to get in and you have to know how to fix your own body. That no one's going to do it for you. And that's really what my main goal was when I started going viral and realizing everything was that you have to be your own patient advocate. And no one's going to do it for you.
Today, we are talking about TPE.
Yes.
What is it?
Therapeutic plasma exchange. What I did it for was mold, parasites, Lyme, and I have autoimmune encephalitis. So it really is helpful for inflammation. I was having a lot of mental health issues, and I've done a lot of things in my last 4 years to get me to the point I'm at now. But there's still this point that my brain just would switch, and we're going to talk about that.
I've actually been around you before when the switch has happened, and I've seen you become physically affected by it, but also mentally. You said it's like all of a sudden, like you have like no self-worth.
Yes.
You would just become really emotional, really like not yourself. Because at this point in your life, you've done so much work to get your baseline, what I would say is your normal baseline, is really balanced. It's balanced.
Aww.
You have a positive outlook on life. Like you're full of energy, you're fun, easygoing, lighthearted. And then all of a sudden this switch will happen. So internally, what does it feel like and what is happening?
Oh yeah, it's a switch. It's wild. I'll start to question myself. There's a little paranoia that's involved. I start to withdraw. I start to not want to be around people. I'll cry. I get headaches. I start to have some visual changes sometimes, depending on
I've seen your eyes visibly swell before.
Yeah, my eyes swell up because there's so much swelling that's going on in my brain. My doctor, my personal doctor is Dr. Giles. She's been with me from the beginning of all of this. She was one of the only doctors that really believed that I had worms and really like helped guide me in all of this. I ended up talking with her a little bit about it, I said, well, last year I got a Zoomer done for my brain and I have Epstein-Barr and strep in my brain, not realizing that's pandas. I didn't know what pandas really was. I mean, I've looked at it, I've read about it. I have people in my comments that talk about pandas, but I never really put two and two together that I had pandas. And so I said, well, I did that in December. And she goes, no. I really was shocked when she looked at it and she said, Kim, this explains everything. You have pandas. That is why when you were a teenager, because around 12 is when my parents had me go on Prozac. So I've been on antidepressants off and on. I was on Klonopin for 22 years. Your anxiety because your brain is so swelling from the strep and the Epstein-Barr virus. So that's what's going on, Kim. And I mean the validation, Sam. It's so validating when you know what's going on. I really realized that it wasn't me.
I'm such an advocate and fan for blood testing. It has so many times in my life where I was stumped and I was so tired of the guessing game to try to solve my hormonal issues. I knew something was out of balance or my adrenal fatigue. You get sick of guessing. Get blood tests and blood work. When
blood doesn't lie.
Okay, this is actually currently what's happening in my body. Now I can put together a plan to balance it out. So what's the swelling of the brain called?
Autoimmune encephalitis.
Okay.
That's what I have. And it's triggered because I have all those labels.
Lyme
and mold and Epstein-Barr and strep, which they're all environmental toxins, which I am a huge advocate of. That is a big reason why we have autoimmune disease, because these environmental toxins. I was bit by a Lyme when I was 10. My personality changed. I had strep throat all the time, not even thinking that it would go to my brain and cause me to have swelling. So it was just validating to think that that's not who I am to the core.
Well, it's symptoms happening from causes. If you can, when you can get to the root cause, how do we heal that root now?
Right. It really is something that I felt relief right away.
So let's break down what the process is.
Yeah.
We did actually film it so you guys can see exactly what the process is and what we're talking about. Break down exactly what's happening and what the setup is.
So they put needles in both arms. They're very similar to an IV needle, maybe a little bit bigger. So they set it here and here, and you literally have to sit like this. It's comfortable. It's just, you're like this. It is really 4 hours, maybe even a little longer, because you do the TPE and then you do an IV after to nourish your body. So what they're doing is they're removing your blood and they're separating the red blood cells, the white blood cells, the platelets, and the plasma. The plasma is what holds 70% of your mold, your Lyme, your toxins, heavy metals, bad cholesterol, the inflammation that causes, for me, in my case, the encephalitis and that feelings that I get that I'm trying to control. You sit like this and then it comes out here. It goes into this machine and a centrifuge. The centrifuge spins out all of the cells and the platelets and it pulls out the plasma. And then the plasma goes in a bag that then they discard later. And then they put a placeholder, which is albumin. And so then that comes right back into your arm. So you get your red blood cells, your white blood cells, your platelets, and then you get albumin. And albumin holds the place while your body is producing new and cleaner plasma.
Essentially, you getting an oil change for your body.
Totally.
So you ended up doing 4 total sessions.
Right. So I did 3 pounds of plasma, which we have me slapping the plasma.
We do. I believe we have footage of Kim slapping her big bag of dirty plasma. So can we roll to that and show you guys that?
I mean, it's just crazy. And it was cloudy.
Yeah, it was.
And it was gunky, man. You could tell.
You had a goal of how many pounds you wanted to get out of your body, right? Okay.
I wanted to get 10 pounds. So the first time was 3 pounds.
Yes.
And then that following Tuesday, I did 1.5 pounds. I was happy with 1.5 pounds. That following Tuesday, I got another 3.5 pounds.
Nice.
And then I got 1.8 pounds.
Yeah.
So 10 pounds,
10
to the dot.
It reminds me a lot of parasites. They hold memories. They hold trauma.
Yes.
They hold on to heavy metals, viruses. They hold on to frequencies from your past. So humans can be doing the work, can be improving and healing and moving forward, but sometimes you can hit a block or a ceiling and you can't get past it because you still have harmful environmental toxins or organisms inside of your body that is keeping your body in this state that can trigger old trauma and keep you in patterns or keep you like stuck almost. So when you remove the environmental toxins, then you remove all of that old stuff. Being proactive with our health instead of reactive, right?
Yes.
What does the difference look like? What's being proactive versus reactive when it comes to your health?
It's knowing that an issue could happen, but stopping it before it comes.
So preventative,
it's a
versus
preventative.
Clean up the disaster happening. So
which we're all in that cleanup stage.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm in the cleanup stage, but I'm also seeing that I need to be in the proactive. I'm trying to live longer, you know, I'm trying to fix the damage that's been done to my body because I wasn't always this responsible with it. I took a lot of big pharma medications. I had 13 surgeries. That is a toll that it takes on your body as well. I'm trying to clean up the mold that I was living in, the parasites that I had from our water. Like now when I filter my water, I'm being proactive. I'm making sure that I won't recontaminate myself, but, you know, it's really being just aligned with what we're doing. And, you know, that is one thing that I have to say, meeting you in the last year has really allowed me to understand, because I never really understood nutrition as much as I do now. And, you know, we talk about this and joke about this. You are very extreme. We love it though. We know it.
Yeah.
But it's just... Your diet is on point. You know, you showed us the way to make it so that you don't have to be reactive, that eating the right foods is nourishing your body and I have a totally different relationship with food now because I met you.
Oh my God, I love that. I'm so honored. I can't even count what I've learned from you since I've met you. Like my life has never been the same since meeting Kim Rogers.
Never been the same since I met Sam Bruno.
It's been a wild ride. It's been a wild ride.
We're very busy people.
We have to be healthy to live the lifestyle we live and travel.
I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission, and I'm really grateful that I'm on this mission with you.
Same, my friend. Yeah, I'm honored.
Let me just say that I've always been a rebel. Like I've always been against the grain.
Fuck yeah. It's why I love you so much. We both are, man. We have that in common. I love it.
I've always been someone that questioned everything. So I did empower a lot of my students, and a lot of my students actually have gone in to do natural. But as far as the nutritional stuff, I even cut it out of a lot of my curriculum. It just isn't, we just never really thought, we're like, there's a pill for that. It's all insurance based, right?
I mean,
we'll definitely talk more about that because this is really where I come from. Like I was a medical billing and coding specialist. Like I wrote medical billing books. I totally understand exactly why they do what they do because I've been behind it.
I believe that there's a time and place for pharmaceuticals.
Yes.
I believe that there's a time and place for Western medicine. Like it's not discounting or shutting out completely at all whatsoever. You would be very ignorant to do so because it's necessary.
They're not proactive.
Yes. Hanging your hat on a pill to fix all is stopping at the Band-Aid. Period. It is a Band-Aid for a symptom. It is not root cause. Root is so important to me. Like last night we stayed up late talking about the root and I'm like, I have to get to the root. And I'm like, but what was before that? What's before that? And I just have to get to it, target that, focus on that, and we can now come up with a solution. How do we heal that? How do we mend that? How do we fix that? You have to trace it back to the root. That's what we're about here at What's Eating You.
And I think that this is a good idea of why we're showing these modalities like therapeutic plasma exchange. And unfortunately, insurance won't cover it the way that people think. And it is a little expensive because it's not covered by insurance. I've spent less money, though, doing these things than I did when I was getting surgeries every other year.
Wow.
And when I say I was getting surgeries every other year, I really was getting surgeries every other year. So when I found out I had endometriosis, it was devastating because I was pretty young still. I was in my 20s. And, you know, they got in on my first surgery and he said, like, you really need to prepare to never have children. And I said, okay, I'm good. And you should prepare to have a hysterectomy by the time you're 25. That's expensive, right? That's expensive.
Even on insurance.
Even on my insurance, because you have co-pays and you have to go get visits, and not
all of it's covered, and depending on what job I had at the time. And it dictated my jobs because I couldn't necessarily have a job that I was on a PPO because I needed to be on an HMO. There were so many variables that happened because of how sick I was.
That had to pay for your illness.
Yeah, that paid for the illness. I spent so much money between surgeries, medications, going to the doctor, so those co-pays, like IVs, like anything I could do, I was willing to do it. And so I feel like I spend less money making sure my health is good.
Yeah. It's interesting when you put it in a perspective like that, because if you focus on like long term versus the investment now, I just feel like that's a really great perspective to share with people. Look at long term.
Long term.
Yeah. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Sam.
What a special episode this is. We are in the Rogers Hood production facility in Jonesboro, Arkansas. We are in the heart of where it all happens and goes down.
I was so sick, I could not go outside. And I would not leave that chair. And it was really hard because I was watching everyone else live my life. And all I could do was just tell people, like, you have to do it this way.
Did you at the time think or know that you would make it out of that chair one day?
I had hoped.
I reached a rock bottom point where my spirit was like, enough is enough. No one's coming to save me. And if I don't take my health into my own hands and heal myself, this is how I'm gonna live until I die. And so I knew if I don't do it, it's not gonna happen.